Laptop computer spins onto the screen, opens, and displays ATP Education Program webinar series, closes, and then spins off the screen.
Hi, welcome to Writing Supports for Students on the Autism Spectrum. I'm Buti. I've been in the field of disabilities for over 31 years. I was a special education teacher, an autism itinerant, and a special education administrator. I was the director of Autism and Intellectual Disabilities for the Chicago Public Schools. And I'm now the proud owner of AIEPA, which stands for Advocate and Instructional Expert for People with Autism. Well, let's begin. So this session today, we're talking about writing. Now, writing is really broken down to two specific areas, the motor skill and the creative process. We're going to hit some of each with some strategies in order to make writing more successful for people with autism. So when we think about people with autism, many students with autism really benefit from visuals. So when we think about writing, we think about what kind of visual boundaries can help students in the writing process. Well, I'm going to show you some. So some could just literally be boxes, the visual boundary of a box. So boxes for letters, boxes for words, maybe a cutout window in which they write in. So the window could look much like this. I made it really big, but you would cut it out to the actual size that you would want the student to be writing, and they can move down as they write. Here's some more writing guides. These are really cool. You can make these with, you can use various different thick cardboards, and you can have, here, I'll show you some. Yep. So you can put the paper under it, and you can have it so that it has a little square for each letter, or you can take that part out, and you can have just the spaces for words. So maybe it's more like this, right? But those visual boundaries are wonderful for kids with autism. You can even have paper. You can just make this with Word. I don't know if you could see those. Oh no, they're just little squares. All right. Very, very helpful to have those visual boundaries. Sometimes just different width of lined paper works really well. You can create your own using the drawing tool in a Word program. You can just create the lines and you can determine how wide you want them. I've had some success with skipping a line and then coloring in every other line that really gives that thick boundary. Color coding lines, so having maybe the top line be blue for the sky, and maybe the bottom line is green for the ground. So you can use those prompts like up to the sky, down to the ground, or to the grass. Those are also really great strategies. Sometimes if our students are writing really big, maybe just reducing the actual size of the paper. So maybe you start out with a big piece of paper and then move into those sentence strips, then move into maybe like a Post-it note, and then maybe move into an address label, and then you can try those boxes that we talked about. Some other things that are really nice are raised line paper, gives you that kind of visual and physical prompt. You can make those with wiki sticks, the good old wiki sticks from back in the day. They're reusable. They're kind of waxy. You can put them right on the lines that you are wanting to be raised. You can actually use a sewing tracing wheel, and if you trace the lines you want raised, then you flip over the and they're raised. You can use glue to create the lines. I had this student that loved glue. He was like obsessed with glue, and he was a perfectionist. So we had him create his own lined paper. So he would really carefully put the glue, and we had like pretty sparkly glue on every other line. And then we would put it up somewhere and it would dry and he'd have his raised lined paper. Those are great strategies. So a lot of people use different pencil grips. So I know that we only want to address the pencil grip or the grip that the child has. If their current grip is causing them pain or discomfort, maybe extra fatigue, they can't finish like longer assignments, or it somehow compromises their speed. The grip doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It just needs to be functional. So don't get hyper-focused on that's not how we should be holding the pencil. However, if you would like some grips or grip ideas, here's a bunch. You can buy store-bought grippers, right? You can use a styrofoam ball at the end of the pencil, and I'll show you pictures of these. This will help. A clothespin in your hand, a small item in your hand, a sock in your hand. I'm going to show you a picture of these. Oh, you could take that great wiki stick that I love so much and wrap it around the end of the pencil. So here are some of the ones. You can use a rubber band that helps hold the pencil back. The one in the middle is the clothespin. So you're holding the clothespin with your fingers. And also the one on the right upper one is also a clothespin. The one on the lower one right here, that is using one of those binder clips. And then the one on the bottom all the way to the left is a sock that you can cut out for the two fingers. So it forces that pinch or breath. Here's the styrofoam ball, holding the ball, and there are even some kind of foam balls too you can buy for this as well. Here's some other grippers, right? So these are all store-bought, except for the ones maybe at the bottom to the left. But these all can help with the grip. But remember, only focus on the grip. If there's discomfort, it's really making it difficult to write longer assignments, things like that. Size and shape matters. So here's some strategies. They have triangle-shaped crayons by Crayola, which help you to have that grip. They have crayon rocks. They have also by Crayola. You can use shortened or broken crayons or pencils. Don't throw those out because they're really good. It forces that grip. Or you can use those golf pencils. They just come smaller. Those are great strategies. Here are the crayon rocks. That's what they look like. So you would have to grasp it this way. It would be too hard to do it this way or this way, right? So writing and spacing is a big deal, like spacing in between words or even in between letters. So when I think about in between words, I use the spaceman popsicle stick. So for our literal students, I put an astronaut on the top of a popsicle stick and I say, write the word, use your spaceman. Write the word, use your spaceman. I have a picture of that I'll show you in a second. I've also had kids that you write a word and you put a little sticker. We use those little smiley face stickers. Now, granted, then you have smiley face stickers all over your paper, but it could be an initial way to teach. But then you could fade that sticker. So instead of writing the word sticker, you write a word, but the child has a sticker on their fingernail. So they write a word, they put that down there, right? So that's a way to fade it from being on the paper. We've done it where a child will write a word and put like a little stamp, write a word, stamp, write a word. And you're probably like, why did you write key? Why would you write keys? So I had a child that like collect keys. That was his thing. So it was very motivating. Write a word, put the key, the long part of the key down, write a word, long part of the key. You can use dashes, those little Post-it notes. You can reuse those. So that one could be write a word, put the Post-it note, write your next word, then take that little Post-it note. It's those little strip Post-it notes. If you really need some motivation, you can maybe write a word, put a little piece of candy, write a word, a little piece of candy. And if you get to the end, you get to eat all the candies. Graph paper is my favorite. It's simple. It has the visual boundaries that children with autism really, really need sometimes to help with the writing process. So graph paper, and you can get it all different sizes, right? So a letter per box. There's my spaceman, my little astronaut, for my literal students with autism. Write a word, put the spaceman. The correct angle is everything. So the position of the wrist really determines how well your child will be able to control the pencil. So using a slant board, writing with paper up on the wall or on a whiteboard, a clipboard on a binder, raising even the legs of your table so it tilts this way. I have this thing called Gravityworks, and it's super cool. You open it up and this piece comes out, but then you can put the board at different angles. You can put it at just a little angle here, all the way up to a bigger angle here. And then you can put the paper on it. Okay, so just some demonstrating angles. So here would be paper that could be on a slant board, helping with that wrist control, okay? So if you just want to be practicing the motor skill to strengthen your muscles and strengthen that motor skill, we've used colored hair gel in a plastic bag. Make sure it's sealed nice and tight. I put book tape around it, but they can practice writing the letters in that. Shaving cream on the table. Sandpaper underneath paper sometimes provides more input while the child is writing. Hot glue, glitter glue, and different kind of glues that if you have it dried on something, they can trace with that. So again, just working on the motor skill, practicing that motor skill. And then of course, important alternative ways. You can use a label maker where they type out a short answer. They can use just typing in general. And I know I put an old school typewriter, but there's some around still. Or a computer or a keyboard, like the Oxford or the Dana, but of course the computer. A scribe where the child is telling someone else what to write, or voice to text. Now I know voice to text is not always accurate, but it is a great skill then to teach them to go back to edit their work. So there's a lot of paper that you can buy that's really designed for this, what I'm seeing, these visual boundaries. So this one's called Just the Right Size, and they will give you free samples. So I have this one here. If you look carefully, let's see, yeah. So they gave me this. What I love about this is it's in a spiral notebook. So it looks like typical paper. And when you peel the paper out, it peels so nicely that you don't get all those little ends that sometimes our children with autism really get upset about, because maybe they want their paper to look perfect. And then when they tear it out, there's all those little edges. So this brand really does a lovely job at that. So if you notice, like the one with the green, there's that like shaded area. And they have various different ones that make the shading less or make the shading more. There's other brands too, and just other papers. This one, if you look closely, has like the sky letters and the flower letters. So green here, blue here. So if you start at the ground, go up to the sky, and then the dotted line is red in the middle. So that could be a nice visual boundary. The ready space is nice because it has a green go, and then look at the little notches, each notch for a letter. And then look when you get to the end, a stop, right? So these little notches can really help with getting your letters in there clearly. And that one is called Ready Space. Okay, so that's really nice as well. They have it in this, or they have loose leaf as well. Okay. So then we can't forget about the creative process too, right? So what can help our students with that creative process of writing? So we've got graphic organizers. You can draw a picture if you can't motor-wise right. You can draw maybe using highlighting checklists. I say checklists because sometimes our students need like, what are the rules I need to do before I finish my writing assignment? So this is it neat? Have nice and neat handwriting with space between words. And the student, this is laminated, they would check it off. Have a period of question mark at the end of each sentence. Have a capital letter at the start of each sentence. Have everything I want to say. Has my name on it, and it makes sense. And if you mark yes to all these, then you get to turn it in. So it's just a really nice way. See all these sentences, and they come with visuals. It's a really nice way to have like a checklist for those rules in writing. Using a computer, dictation again, remember dictation, voice to text, recording your answer. And I always like to say ample space. I know sometimes when a student sees like their space that they need to write the answer, it might be overwhelming. They think, I can't possibly put everything I want in that little space. So sometimes it can be one question and a bigger space, like one question per page even, or sometimes I highlight the area where the answer goes. There's a lot of cute, great websites where you have to put in the place, adjective, word ending in ing, famous person, and you answer all these and then you press enter and it creates a story with everything you just put in. That's wacky web tales. Concept maps are great. I love a concept map with a little color coding. So teaching kids how to concept map can really help them organize their thoughts. And then the color coding just brings it up a level. And this is a great strategy as well. Having the color coding of the intro versus body versus conclusion. You know, intro, 3 sentences, body, 4 sentences, conclusion, 3 sentences. It's visually organized. You might need more spaces, but this would be a great example for that. Another visual too, where you can put the who, where, who, what, where, when, and why words, and that'll help you to organize what you want to write. So I want to leave you with this. Collaborate with your OT. If you have any questions about what might work for your student, reach out to your OT. All right. That's it for today. Thank you so much for coming. Again, I'm Mo Buti. My email is mobuti@hotmail.com. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for watching. For more information on the ATP Education Program, please visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education or email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov.